Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of the challenge. Can anyone do the splits in 7 days? Now, in the last video you got to see me do a little bit. You got to see day 1 and day 2 and how inflexible I was. You got to see me in a little bit of pain. This part of the video you get to see, do I complete the challenge? And you'll see me in a lot more pain and maybe a little bit more flexibility. If you like this video or any other of my videos or my content, it would really help me if you would subscribe and like. But let's kick this off with a training montage.
Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave in and swallow me whole. Wondering why my mind keeps on spinning. This isn't how living to me was told. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't apply. Waiting for the clear. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light of day, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave in and swallow.
So I thought I'd do a little bit of a comparison. So on the top we could see what it was like on day 2, and on the bottom we could see what it was like on day 7. So on day 7 you can see I'm able to reach my feet a lot easier. Now for the glute stretch, I was amazing at this anyway, so I don't think you could really see much difference in between the two. Maybe I'm even better on day 2, but it's hard to tell. Now for this stretch, I actually think this is a massive difference between the two. It might be quite hard to tell, but on day 7 I'm able to put my foot a lot further back, and I'm able to straighten it a lot further back, which is quite a big difference compared to day 2. So on this exercise it's very obvious I'm more flexible. I'm able to put my leg on the top shelf, whereas before I was not able to. So this exercise was my arch nemesis. It was always really painful. At the end of the video I'm going to put together all the painful moments I had during this challenge, so all you evil people who like to see me in pain can have a good laugh. So for the lunge exercises, I think in terms of flexibility, they look roughly the same. Maybe my back leg is able to get a little bit lower than before. So on this exercise, I'm able to keep a lot of my body upright on the pillows. In the past, I had to use my arms a lot. If you look at the top video, you can see that a lot of my weight's actually on my arms. And on the bottom video, you can see that I'm able to distribute the weight across my body a lot better. So I was fully warmed up now, so it was time to try the splits again. So I went for a new technique where I just move the pillows out underneath me, and I will try to go into the split position. So I'm kind of struggling here. You can see that I can't actually get all my weight on day 7 onto the back of my right foot. Maybe I should have adopted the same approach as I did on day 2, where I'm actually on the toes of my back foot. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't try to go on the toes of my back foot, and I didn't actually realise until I sat here and watched these videos now that I was actually doing the technique differently, which goes to show why it's actually a very useful tool to video yourself as you're doing different techniques or different challenges to see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So, can anyone do this challenge? I've come up with a rating system where 5 out of 5 means anyone can do it. I highly recommend it. It's easy to do. Whereas a score of 1 out of 5 means that no, you should not do that unless you're crazy. So I've given this an easiness 2 out of 5 just because I found this really difficult. Now, not everybody's going to be like me, and I hope a lot of people are more flexible than me. So maybe this score is a little bit unfair, but I'm just going off what I found. So I've given it a great score of 4 out of 5 because it does not take that long to do. 20 to 30 minutes, which is nothing, and maybe you could do it once or twice a week and you're still going to get great results with that. So I know I'm going to be carrying on this challenge even after this week is done. Now for fun, I've been maybe a little bit unfair. I've given it a score of 2 out of 5. For me, the exercises were genuinely painful, and it just was not that enjoyable. You'll see some of the clips of me after this rating, and you'll see how much pain I was in. For usefulness, I've given it a 3 out of 5. This would largely depend on the individual. If you're doing sports where flexibility is required, such as kickboxing or a martial art, then this is going to be highly useful for you. Now, if you're like me and you're not doing any sports right now, I think a usefulness of 3 out of 5 is fair. It allows you to be more aware of your body, and I think it makes you feel great. I had an extra spring in my steps for the next few days, so that was great. So overall, I've given it a rating of 4 out of 5. So I think anybody can do this challenge, not in a week, but in a longer period of time. I don't really see why people haven't done this. I mean, I'm one of those too, but I think it's great to see how flexible you can make your body, and the ability to do the splits is something that I think everybody should aspire to do once in their lifetime. So I know I'm going to be carrying on this challenge going forwards. This is the worst challenge ever. God. God damn it.
never gets less painful. Never, 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 never gets less painful. This exercise is horrible.
Well, that's it for my 7-day split challenge. I may have failed, but I really enjoyed the journey. I hope you enjoyed the journey too, and you didn't enjoy watching me in pain. Maybe some of you did. I'd love it if you would like the video and subscribe. It really helps me, and you'll get to see what my next challenge is next week.